So, are you someone like me who's planning to buy the iPhone X? You may wonder that Swapnil has been an advocate of Linux and open source technologies. He writes about Linux and open source technologies a lot. So, why is he buying the iPhone X? Let me tell you a bit about myself so that you do understand where I'm coming from. Um, I have been a huge fan of science and technology from a very early age. I used to have a lab in my home where I would play with chemicals and all those electronic things. I could not afford a multimeter back in those days, so I built my own multimeter. And I've been writing since I was like 13. I started writing a fan fiction, and then by the time I was 16 or 17, I actually created a circuit diagram for a device. I made the device, and then I sent that circuit diagram and an article accompanied with that to one of the biggest science magazines of India. And it got published and I got paid for it. So I have been writing ever since. I never took any pocket money from my parents. I've always been making money for myself from that early on. And I like it. And as a science fiction writer or somebody who is excited about technology, I kind of like to know where we are heading. I'm not interested in where we were. I am not interested in where we are. I'm more interested in where we are moving forward. What new technologies, what new product, how they will change our world, how they're shaping our society. So I like to keep an eye on new technologies. And fortunately, in most cases, most of these technologies, most of these products are powered by either Linux or any other open source technologies. So I am always playing with, open source is touching our life in every form and way. And since I write a lot about Linux and open source technologies, I also want to be very well informed when it comes to competing platforms. So that was my personal, why I am excited about technology, because as a science fiction writer and tech enthusiast, so I try to expose myself as much as I can to all these platforms. Though I must also admit that I had never been an Apple user. Though during my filmmaking days, when I was doing a journalism course and I was taught film editing, I learned it on Apple Final Cut Pro. But I never used Apple products. My first Apple product was iPhone 6s plus, I guess. Yes. So I think it was just like I was my first, like I bought, like I am 40 and my first iPhone was when I was 38 years old or something like that. I do have a MacBook, but I am dominated by, like, I have like 3 or 4 Android devices. I have Pixel C tablet, I have Chromebook, I have an iPad Pro, and I have actually I sold my iPhone because I'm planning to buy the iPhone X. So that is the personal reason why I like these products. Second reason is, being a journalist, I think it's my duty that when I'm sharing my opinion, or if I'm writing about a platform, which in this case could be Android or Linux, an open source platform, my opinion should be based on facts, experience, and actual usage of the competing products. I know some of my friends who are bloggers and YouTubers, and they are full of opinion about Mac OS and other platform. They're like Alex Jones, who are like kind of, they hate Apple. They kind of rant about it all the time, but almost everything that they say is at the level of FUD and lies, because they have never used the product to actually criticize it. With me, the case is that I want my opinions to be based on facts and actual experience with the product. Their opinions are based on lack of experience and lack of facts. So just I would ask you, as a viewer or as a user, who do you think has more credibility, or who would you trust more? If you're getting directions from a person and you're asking a person who has never been to that city, who has never been to that area, and he's telling you directions how to go there, versus somebody who knows that area very well, somebody who has been to the city, who spends time in the city. So whose directions would you trust more? The one who has actually been to the city, or somebody who has never been to the city but is full of opinions and directions? At the same time, I think I have more credibility than those people, because sometimes you often hear that, oh, what kind of credibility you have? You are an iOS user. Yes, I am also an iOS user, but I also use OpenSUSE, Arch, Android, Chrome OS, and iOS, and macOS, and BSD, and Windows. So I know it very well compared to somebody who lives only in his tiny pond. So I think you should change your opinion, and you should actually think of someone who uses multiple platforms to be a more credible source than somebody who has never used any other platform. So that was professional reason why I use iOS devices, because I want to be informed, so that I am honest and truthful to you, so that when I share some opinion with you, I am sharing what is the fact, not just my made up stories and kind of Alex Jones like conspiracy theories. That was the basic overview of why I use iOS or iPhone. Now, why am I buying iPhone X? No, my friend, I am not a lab rat, or I'm not an Apple fanboy. As you can see, I spend like more $930. I mean, I spent $1,141 on this Note phone. So the first argument of my friend was that it's super expensive. Uh, the 64 GB of iPhone is for $999 or $1,000, and 256 GB is $1,140, which they say is super expensive. Is it? So as I said, this Galaxy Note, I bought it for $930. Then on top of that, you have to pay taxes, and it comes only with the, I think, 64 GB. So I also put a 256 GB of micro SD card, and that card was $211. So you can add up roughly $1,000, because I had to pay tax and everything on it, plus $211. So this phone turned out to be something around $1,200. iPhone 256 GB is $1,140. Yes, you will pay taxes, so it will also be around $1,200. So both these phones are in the same price range. And I think this is just a lie and FUD that Apple charges an Apple tax. No, just look at Google's Pixel 2 laptop. It was more expensive than a MacBook, and it was just a browser. It's just everything that you can run in a browser, you can run on that device. That's all it is. There's nothing more. It doesn't support all the file systems out there. It doesn't have all the desktop applications. I mean, what am I going to do with all this raw power that I have on this machine when I cannot use anything other than that? Yes, there are a lot of users who live in browser. I don't. But I have it because, as I said, I love technology, so I do have it. Look at Google's next this Pixel phone. It's $840 for 128 GB. 800, I think it's 870 or something, whatever it is. So it's in the ballpark of $900. So it's only $99 less than the iPhone X, the latest iPhone. So I'm sorry, my friends, but no, iPhone X is not super expensive. Smartphones, latest smartphones are in general more expensive. It's not that they charge a premium. The reason is that there's a lot of R&D going in there. Whether it's Face ID, whether it's Force Touch, whether it's new chip, uh, R&D costs money, and somebody has to bear that cost. And that somebody happens to be the user. They have to pass that cost onto the user. And that is the case with almost every new hardware out there. I mean, I have Raspberry Pi, which I buy for $35, but when I start adding accessories to it, if you try to build a PC with a Raspberry Pi, well, Pi is only $25 or $35. The whole PC would actually cost you something around $500, and still you get that tiny chip. So yeah, hardware is expensive. So I don't really think that iPhone X is expensive. But when you put that much money onto the device, you're not getting just the device. What I do like about Apple, and the reason I mean, as I said, I will have both, so I'm not an Apple or Android guy, is that care. I recall that when I had a, I think, Nexus 5, and my son dropped it and the screen cracked. There was a tiny just crack on the top. And I called Google, and Google doesn't do. I bought it from Google, but they don't repair them. So they, I think, I don't remember, it was Motorola or I think it was Motorola. So they sent me to Motorola or LG, whatever. So I was on phone for hours, and they were asking me $170 or $150 to replace the screen, and I had to send the phone, and it would take like at least 2 or 3 weeks for the replacement. A few days ago, my Samsung Galaxy 8 stopped. I was taking an Uber drive, and when I sat in the Uber, it lost networking, and I thought it's just temporary. And what happened was that it stopped detecting the SIM. There was something faulty with the device. So I went for my dentist appointment, came back, uh, and I learned that I was on phone with Samsung for, first of all, the call was like 1 hour. I was just waiting for 1 hour, more than 1 hour, and I was told that since I bought it from T-Mobile, I should contact T-Mobile. I was also paying $10 per month for insurance on the device. So I went to T-Mobile, and they looked at it and they told me that they will place an order for it and it will come next day. Not to me, to the store. So first of all, I took a day off to go to T-Mobile, and then I have to go back again. I have to first of all check with them whether the phone has arrived or not. Then I have to go back again to the store and get my device, despite paying $120 per year for insurance. I had two I have two incidents with Apple. It was not incident, but experience. You walk into Apple store if you have Apple Care and it's cheaper than $120 per year. You walk into Apple store and you will get a new device then and there. If you make a phone call to Apple, they will actually call you back. Yes, they will call you back if they're busy. And that happened with me when I upgraded one of my MacBook to the latest, I think, Sierra, and there was some issue with the Samba protocol. It's a known issue. And I tweeted them, and then I called the support, and they could not answer. So I got a phone call from Apple within half an hour. And a lady there, expert, she understood the problem. She explained to me, and she said, I should try the beta version. I should try. She tried to give me all the possible solutions that I can try on my system. And she also said, maybe because the new update may be coming in, so you can wait. It may fix the problem. They call you back. So a lot of people, they buy Apple products also because of this support. So that's one another reason why people keep going back. I mean, it's more affordable and it's less hassle. You just walk in there, you can actually you can go to you can chat with them. Literally, you cannot chat with Samsung or team. I mean, I don't even know if you can chat with LG or whatever, all those people. You can literally chat with them, and they will send you a label. You ship the device and it will ship back to you very fast. So on top of the price, you get this experience also. Though I'm not promoting Apple at all, I'm just trying to, that's what I'm saying. You should be a user of a competing product to actually know about it. There is a saying, the empty vessel makes a lot of noise. So all these bloggers and all those YouTubers, they are the empty vessel. They talk too much, but they actually don't know the reality. So this is why a lot of people, they're not lab rats. They use Apple products because they get this service. In today's world, we want a lot of kind of convenience. It's easy. Why should I waste whole day in just getting a replacement for my device, as what happened with the T-Mobile and Samsung device? Anyway, back to this phone. Why I am getting it? For two reasons. Number one is that, of course, I'm on T-Mobile Jump on Demand program, so I don't have to pay the whole $1,000 for it. It's more or less like I have the device on lease, so I pay $50 per month. I take the old device to T-Mobile and I get a new one. So that's it. Um, so I don't actually have to throw $1,000 from my pocket to get a device. That's how I got my Note 8 too. Honestly speaking, there's not much from features point of view in iPhone X that would get an average user excited about it, because iPhone 7 Plus is already a great device. there are certain things that I am looking forward to. First of all, I want to see, the new interface they are, introducing, which edge to edge display. Though this Note and with Samsung, 8, they introduced the technology, but I'm sure that Apple will steal all the thunder, and they will get the credit for inventing edge to edge device. So they are doing some interesting thing, and as usual, I want to see where the platform is going. So yes, that's one reason. Second reason is augmented reality, because I very strongly believe that these PCs and these smartphones, they should just die. They should just go away. I think they are placeholders, for the new interface, new devices. If you are kind of keeping an eye on Robert Scoble, he's a very prominent journalist who covers artificial intelligence. No, I mean virtual reality, mixed reality a lot, and he's doing some incredible work there where you can see uh, all those fascinating things that you can do with virtual reality or augmented reality. I am already testing augmented reality apps on my iPad Pro, and one exciting app is that you can actually take the blueprint of your home just from the iPad, since it's augmented reality. So you can point, look, you can turn the camera on, you can point at that corner and just move your iPad and put to this corner, move to all those corners, and then you can um tell the app whether it's living room or bathroom or whatever it is, and then as you move to different rooms, you can build the whole blueprint of your house. And the most interesting thing is that the dimensions are very, very accurate, so you don't have to take an inch tape from one edge to other edge to measure the room. And I'm sure that this is going to become extremely popular with the with professionals in this business. Everybody will be using this application, and a lot many similar applications are coming in. And that's actually what happens with Apple platform. They kind of cater to certain professionals, and those professionals become hardcore users of the platform. It's not about being fanboy. You can use whatever derogatory terms you can, but it's not about being a fanboy of the platform. It's about getting out of the box experience and getting some apps that make your life very, very easy. So that is one thing that I'm excited about. I'm also excited about what they're going to do with the Face ID, because I do use Face ID on my Note, but Apple is doing something even more interesting, because they have built it at the chip level, and Apple is also known for not sharing that your data with their server that you see in Google and a lot of other words. Though I don't have any problem with that. Machine learning is all about collecting data and then learning from it and improving the algorithm. It depends on what kind of data you're talking about. So I'm interested in what they are doing with the Face ID. And yes, there are a lot of reports about it being used by cops. Apple, you have seen the FBI case. Apple is known for protecting users' privacy. It's the dumb users, who don't use, two-factor authentication or uh, very secure password, that if your password is stolen, it's not Apple's fault. So don't stop faulting them. Even FBI cannot crack their encryption. So their stuff is more or less like you're sitting in an armored car, but you forgot to lock the door, and then you're saying the car is not safe. No, you're a stupid user. Okay, so please stop attacking Apple from that. So I'm trusting that they will build in some kind of protection even with the Face ID. What I've heard, since I don't have a device, so I cannot test it, that it unlocks only when you're looking at it. So if your eyes are closed or if you're looking away from it, it may not unlock. And as Apple did with the previous, not previous, but the Touch ID, was that if you press it twice, it will disable the touch ID. So if you think that some bad guys or cops are approaching you, you can disable it. So even you're unconscious, they cannot use your thumb or your face to unlock your device. At the same time, any of these biometric measures are not meant for security. They are more for convenience. So while I do use the Touch ID or face recognition on my Note at home just for the convenience, so that my kids cannot be playing YouTube all the time, because they can always guess the password. Uh, Face ID they cannot, or fingerprint they cannot. But whenever I travel, I always use the passcode or password. I never use face ID or whatever when I'm outside the house. I mean not outside in general, but when I'm traveling mostly. So I really don't mind it. And the thing is, that's a funny thing actually. A lot of people in the Linux community or any other community, they turn it into a religious warfare. It's all about technology. And blanket using any technology, just one technology, is more or less like living in a bubble, living in your own pond. Whether you're only Apple user, whether you're only Microsoft Windows user, whether you're only a Linux user, you're living in a bubble. You're living in a pond, and that's a dangerous thing to do. Just because you use Linux doesn't mean you're a smart user. Chances are you may be a dumb user. Because you have not exposed yourself to other words, and you think that, oh, just because you're using Linux you're secure. No, you're not. The best thing to do is to actually gauge uh, each and every application, gauge each and every usage, that what kind of privacy or what kind of protection that particular platform or application offer. You can be a you can be using a Tor browser and you can be logged into Google Gmail account or whatever account and think, oh, Tor will secure you. No, it will not, even if you're running on Linux. So don't do that. Uh, be a smart user. Use mix up technologies, and invest time in each platform in understanding what are the pros and what are the cons. And that's what I try to do when I use all these competing technologies. So it's not like I'm a lab rat or I'm a fanboy. I use these technologies so that I am very well educated and very well informed about the pros and cons of these platforms. So the bottom line is that I'll be getting iPhone X, and these are some of the reasons I'll be getting. Now, are you getting it? And I mean, of course, your reasons may be different from mine, but please do share that. If even if you are a Linux user, why will you be getting the iPhone X? Just I will delete any comment that is either insulting or in any way disrespectful. So be nice, be constructive, be somebody who loves and enjoy technology, and let's have a very positive and constructive discussion in the comments below. And my next story is going to be an interview that I did with Microsoft executive who works on open source. And I have done a lot of interviews with Linus Torvalds and a lot of people from the open source world. So do go and check those interviews on my channel. And as usual, I would request you to subscribe to this channel so you can keep an eye on all these kind of stories that I'll be talking about. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.